Good afternoon on the East Coast and good morning on the West Coast. Welcome to the Victory webinar. Today we are talking about the new 2014 price list, and we are also going to talk about an introduction to the new V-Series horizontal line. This is Richard Babboni here in Cherry Hill with Mark Hike from our IT department. Welcome to everybody, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. We've got a lot of important information we want to share with you, so we're really glad that you're here on the line with us. As is usual in these webinars, we are starting off with everybody on mute, but then we will open it up for questions at the end. In the meantime, if anybody wants to write in a message with the chat window, if you're on a laptop computer or a desktop computer, you can send us a chat message and Mark will get that and pass your question on to me, and I'll try to address it for you. So let's get started. Here you're seeing the cover of the new 2014 price list, which hopefully everyone has already received by now. If you haven't received yours yet, please reach out to either Kathleen or Laura, your regional sales managers, and tell them what you need. Or if you have received them and need more copies, we do have more copies available. As you can see, we're starting with a totally different new look, as has been everything that we've done here with the new Victory. The catalog is much more colorful, and it is in fact more of a catalog than a price list. In the past, we didn't have product information together with the prices. Here our goal was to give you a much stronger selling tool to take to the market, and hopefully you'll see that we've achieved that goal and that it will work very well for you. So on the cover we start with Victory celebrating 70 years of excellence. As you all know, this is the inside cover page, made in the USA since 1944. So these are two important themes for Victory this year: our 70-year history and the fact that we are still a made in the USA brand. Everything's still made here in Cherry Hill, the Ultra Spec line, the V-Series line, the only exception to that being the blast chillers, as you know, that we get from our Ali sister company in the northeastern part of Italy. So now working with the book, you'll see that it's color-coded by section. There are four primary sections. We have the Ultra Spec series, we have the blast chiller shock freezers, the V-Series top mounts, and the V-Series horizontal line. I'm going to spend a little time on the Ultra Spec series because by now you're mostly familiar with that. Before I do, I'll get to the introduction. There's a picture of myself a couple of years ago, but still look pretty much like that. Again, talking about the new Victory Refrigeration, this is our theme. And why is it new Victory Refrigeration? Well, mostly because we've totally relaunched and redesigned the product line. And as you know, I've said this on a couple of occasions, we had three primary objectives with the new product design. First, we wanted to give it a wow look. You know, aesthetically, these are very sleek looking boxes. They have a design element across the line, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from consultants and end users on how cool the boxes look. Then we want to give it new technology, so that's the smart part. We've got new controllers across the board. The Ultra Spec controller, the V-Series controller, even the new horizontal line now has a digital electronic control on the front of the VUR series. Simple. The boxes are easy, simple to use. The controllers are simple to use, but the third part of my redesign program was really the range. So where possible, we've expanded the product range. I think you know about that a lot for the Ultra Spec and top mount V-Series, and we're going to explain that more for the horizontal series today. So again, Victory, born in 1944 in the Philadelphia shipyards, has had a lot of important milestones throughout the successive decades, as Victory's always been a leader in commercial refrigeration. This year, 2014, celebrating our 70-year anniversary, and proud to be in the Ali group, of course, since 2009. Actually, I think it was 2007, it was earlier than that. And in the last 2 years in particular, giving the emphasis to all the new product changes that we've done. Here and it's a shame that I can't show this on 2 pages here because the pages go together, but we've got the model classification section on the left-hand side for the Ultra Spec series, on the right-hand side for the other 3 categories, giving people a very quick reference to understand our model numbers. Then we start with each section. Each section head has a nice picture of the product and also talks about the control technology and gets into the features and benefits of the product and the options that are available. So clearly on the Ultra Spec series, we still have the S, SA, and A series options. The stainless steel inside and out, the stainless outside with aluminum interior, and the all aluminum boxes. And we feature very much the V-Temp electronic control. We actually got that name to be a registered trademark for us because we think it's a very unique control. As you know, it has the super cool mode, the energy saving mode, the manager's lockout feature, one-touch manual defrost. You have the light on-off button, easily accessible on the control panel, as is the power on-off button, which isn't always the case. And it's very easy to enter into the program and adjust parameters and adjust the set point temperatures. Here on this page, we elaborate a little bit on these features. I want to remind you also that there is the clean compressor alarm and the compressor protection alarm, which have also been very important additions to this control technology. We do have the Revit libraries available both for the UltraSpec line and for the V-Series top mount line. So now the UltraSpec section proceeds with the various categories. We talk about the reach-in units first, and the pass-throughs for the refrigerators and the freezers. Again, trying to give you, at the tip of your fingers, product information that typically in the past, Victor only had on spec sheets, together with the pricing information on the page next to it. Really trying to be clear about breaking out the options, the solid doors, the half doors, the pass-through doors. And as you can see, in the UltraSpec section, we have the 3 columns for the S-Series pricing, the SA pricing, and the A-Series. So you already can see, just with a quick look, which is available in which finished material. We proceed to the freezers, talk about the extra wides, obviously, and the shallow depths. And then we've tried to give some special emphasis to some of the models that Victor has become very well known for that didn't really get highlighted in the prior price list. First example is the dual temperature model. A lot of people, for example, know that we make dual temperature refrigerator and freezers, but some people didn't know that we also have a warmer refrigerator available. So here you have that all highlighted for you, very clear layout, very clear on the pricing and which ones are available in each of the 3 options. On the next section, we have the warming cabinets. You can see from the controller that here we're at 160 degrees. We talk about the warming cabinets in the standard and in the extra wide options that are available. On the bottom right, we'll tell you the other options and accessories you have. So in every section, you're going to find a similar format, giving the features and characteristics as well as the options and accessories. Here we have the roll-in and roll-through section. And then we get into the specialty section. So many of you have seen at the trade shows, the last couple of trade shows, we've had a wine cooler present. So here for the first time, we have the pricing and the characteristics and nice images of the wine cooler units available. We also highlight the sliding glass door units, which, as you know, are available in the full-length doors and the half-length doors. Another specialty box we have is the air curtain box, and probably not many people know that this is one of the leading sellers actually for Victory year in and year out. It's been giving a fresh look with the UltraSpec handle and the UltraSpec logo on the front. This box still hasn't been converted to electronic control, but that is in the engineering program for 2014. Here again we highlight another box that people don't remember if we have or if we make anymore, but we've been making them all along, and so the fish files are available, and they are an interesting piece of equipment for people who are serving fish and want to keep it fresh on ice. You have the single section and the double section, 4 drawers and 8 drawers available. Another thing that Victory sells quite a bit of is the correctional facilities package. And again, in the prior price list was highlighted, but perhaps not as clearly with the images that we have now, featuring all the various options from the tamper-proof hinges to the screws, the chrome-plated hasp, the welded non-removable pan slides. So here again, trying to make it much easier for you to present the sales pitch without having to cross-reference spec sheets and price lists and other things that you might have in your package. The UltraSpec horizontal line also has been refreshed with the look of the handle and the logo, but these products have not yet been re-engineered. So we know that, for example, the griddle stand models is a project that's still on our plate for 2014, but in the meantime, we have freshened up the look, and it is consistent with the rest of the UltraSpec line. So then at the end of every section, we're going to give the accessories relative to that section and their pricing. Here you see clearly for the first time the difference between the UltraSpec door, which perfectly matches the beveled edge on the whole UltraSpec line, which has a price surcharge, and the standard glass door for the UltraSpec section. You see that on the standard door now we have a smooth finish on the frame. It's again a more modern and sleek look. This standard door is going to be the same standard door for the V-Series glass door models going forward. Here, if you look at the options, most of them are the ones that you're already familiar with, but in addition, we call out the fluorescent lighting, the LED lighting, the pricing for the UltraSpec doors, as I mentioned, and again, the options specific for the UltraSpec series, which are the USB data recorder, the RS-485 interface, or the FlexTemp control option. For those of you who might not have heard about it or remember, the FlexTemp is the option that allows a refrigerator to go from 28 degrees to 42 degrees. So it gives a broader range for very specific applications, specific types of foods. For example, this was developed for a customer that had a breaded shrimp product that wanted to be able to cool the product more initially and then store it differently during the night. So with the UltraSpec control, you have this flexibility and you can set the temperatures in that range very easily by scrolling through the menu. Here on the next page, we finish the options for the UltraSpec section. We talk about the remote models. We talk about the deductions for the remote models. Again, trying to give you all the information in one spot. And we talk about the options for the horizontal line accessories as well as the pan slides. The next section is the blast chiller shock freezer section. So this is a totally new section. We hadn't had this new line in the price list in the printed form up until now. You can see the control panel, very distinctive control panel, and very distinctive for the Victory product is the location of the control panel on the doors, on the reach-in models. So very ergonomic, very easy to see the display, and very easy to change the parameters or to inquire about the temperature of the probes during the blast chilling or shock freezing cycle. Here we have two different product lines, the VBCF, which is chiller freezer, and the VBC, which is Victory Blast Chiller only. In this price list catalog, we are featuring the VBCF model. This is the model that this is the reason why we changed to Frulinox, to get that blast chilling shock freezing capability, because we think that's what the market is really asking for. And for a small price differential, typically a couple $1,000 or a few $1,000s, on a blast chiller, which is a significant investment, people get a much more flexible product in terms of what it can help them do to organize their work and save them money in their kitchen over the life expectancy of this product. So here on the next page we have the VBCF standard features and the enhanced design features. Again, a very sleek, cool design, very sophisticated control technology. These products come with onboard memory of 66, 67 programs that were developed by expert chefs in Italy partnering with Frulinox. They also have 30 memory slots available that the machine actually, after it runs its cycle, asks the user if they want to save the most recent cycle, if it was a custom cycle, and with one touch they can already save that into the next available memory slot. Recipe books do go out with every product together with the user's manual, and this product also has, let me go back to the other page, if you can see on the bottom right there's a symbol that has a fan and a pre-cool. It's a dual function button. Another unique feature about the Victory line is it has a pre-cooling button. So much like an oven that you will preheat so that when you're putting your food into cook that it's already getting to temperature as soon as possible. Well, when you're taking hot product out of the oven and you want to put in your blast chiller, you want that already to be a cold environment, so it'll already start the process of sealing in the juices, not letting the hot gas vapor take away the body weight of the product, so giving you the maximum value and the maximum quality of the product that you're going to be blast chilling or shock freezing. The fan button is a button that allows the user, if it's a sophisticated chef, to personalize the cycle. So instead of going with a preset cycle, because on the top right, you see you have a soft or hard blast chill to 37 degrees or a soft or hard blast freeze to 0 degrees. Those are automatic cycles that can go either timed or with the core probe. Instead, if you want a custom cycle, you can adjust the evaporator fan speed with the button on the bottom right as low as 30 or 40% of the maximum capacity. So when you're dealing with delicate products, perhaps leafy vegetables, and you really want to start out slowly, you can do that to make sure that there's no frost damage or brine damage to the product as it's going through the process. On the left side, you have the option for starting the manual defrost. Underneath, you have the probe. The standard probe is one single probe with 4 sensors that measure the temperature at 4 different points. As an option, there's a kit for 2, 3, or 4 single probes, and this button will allow you to display the temperature at any one of those 4 points that the temperature is being measured. The button below that is for the VBCF models when you have run a blast shock freezing cycle and you want to remove the core probe from something that's been frozen solid that is heating the probe. There's a resistance in the probe, and for a few seconds, just a few so it doesn't damage the product, it warms the tip so you can extract it more easily. Again, we have the HACCP information similar to the HACCP information and monitor that we have on the UltraSpec line, that in that there is the real-time clock, and it will give you the date and timestamp for any HACCP events that occur, and you can scroll down and display them. So let me talk a bit about the product line. We start with the reach-in models here, and the model coding is the VBCF again for chiller freezer, or the VBC for chiller only. The next number in the middle is for the number of trays. So the smallest model we're offering currently is a 5-tray model. The next number over would be the pounds that that machine is capable of handling in blast chilling mode. If you go over a couple of columns, you'll see that the number is 45 and 30, so there's a reduced capacity in blast freezing mode. Why is that? Because when you blast chill, you're bringing the product down, in 90 minutes to 37 degrees. In the blast freezing mode, you want to be assured that you're bringing down the product to 0 degrees within 240 minutes or 4 hours. So here you see the capacity in trays and the type of pan size that will be accepted. So the models that have a U are what are the so-called universal models. Will accept either the 18 by 26 or the 12 by 20 pan sizes. The ones without will only accept the 12 by 20. Now why is that? Because these models are born on the European standard, which is the gastronome standard, which accommodates 12 by 20, and we had them develop specific models for the United States that will also handle 18 by 26, but there are users in America that also appreciate the 12 by 20. So since that was their standard and that's the one they do more volumes in, there is a slight price savings if you do order the version without the U. The range starts at 5 trays, goes to 8, then 12, then 16, and then 12 again. But in the 12-200, what you really have is the possibility to put a double 12 by 20 pan. So that's why you see you have 24 tray capacity there. It is actually a much larger unit. So you have the trays and you have the pounds that indicate the amount of capacity for these models. On the next page we have nice images of the product as well as the options and accessories. So the primary options here are whether or not you want a printer or a USB port. The standard is without either. If you do want one, you have to choose one or the other. The machine doesn't currently accommodate both. So you can get the printer or the USB. Another option is the UV lamp. Just a reminder, the UV lamp is for sterilizing the chamber after the cycle, not for sterilizing the product. The control of the bacteria is really done by the blast chilling or shock freezing cycle. Then, as I mentioned earlier, if a user wants to have multiple probes instead of the single multi-point probe, we do have the kit for 2, 3, or 4 probes. You would choose either heated or not heated. If it's for the unit that is a shock freezer, obviously you would get the heated version. There's also a vacuum probe for sous vide that plugs into the front of the unit as an accessory. And there is also the possibility to have casters. The models are standards with legs. On the next page, we go into the roll-in and roll-through models. So we have a very, very broad range at this point. The roll-in models start at 175 pounds, 20 trays. Goes up to 230, 350, 465, and up actually to 1,350 pounds. And believe it or not, we've already sold 2 of these units. We call them tunnel units because what happens is the smaller units basically get put together in series to form the larger units. So if you look on the top at the cart capacity, where you see you have 1 cart, all those units are single. So the VBC F2175 and 230 basically share the same box and just have different evaporator and compressor units, as do the 350 and the 465, which is a bigger size, but physically different box. Then when you get to the 660 and 925, you're going to have 2 of those in series, and when you get to the 1000 and 1350, you're going to have 3 of those in series. Here again, I want to point out that if you are doing the roll-in and it's not recessed in the pavement, you do need a ramp. If you are doing a pass-through, you're going to need 2 of the stainless steel ramps, 1 for each side. As you can see from the image on the bottom left, there is a hole there for an outlet hole for the drain when you're using the ramp. When it's recessed, that'll actually be below the level of pavement, so we need to know in advance when it's recessed, and we have the factory relocate that drain hole for that particular application. Here again is a nice picture of the controller, which for the reach-ins and for the roll-in and roll-throughs is also in a very nice ergonomic position, as you can see on the bottom image. The options here are basically the same options that we had for the reach-in models, with the exception of the casters, obviously, and the addition of the stainless steel ramp. Okay, so now we move into the new section. The green section is the V-Series top mount models. You should all be familiar with this by now because the V-Series has been out for over a year, but let me just touch on a couple of key points. So we know that the controller for the V-Series is similar but not the same as the Ultra Spec series. The V-Series controller primary difference is it does not have the real-time clock. So just to remind everybody, what is the big advantage of the real-time clock that is on the Ultra Spec series only? The real-time clock gives you the date and time that any alarm event occurred and the duration of that event and the maximum value that happened. So if your box goes out over the weekend, you can find out it happened Saturday at 3 o'clock. It lasted for 8 hours and it went up to 65 degrees. So you know that the product in there has to be thrown away. The V-Series model doesn't have the real-time clock, but has practically everything else that the Ultra Spec series model has. Why is that? That's because in this very competitive refrigeration market, Victory wants to give you a reason to say why you are choosing Victory over all the other brands that are out there. So on this V-Series box standard, you are still going to have super cool mode, energy saving mode, the manager's lockout feature, the clean condenser alarm, the compressor protection alarm. All these features typically found on a higher priced box are also available on the V-Series box. And the V-Series box will keep 3 alarms in memory that will rewrite over each other, so it only keeps the most recent alarms. But as you know, typically you're not going to see multiple alarms in succession, and 3 alarms pretty much cover the majority of cases that you will have. Here again, as we explained earlier, each section starts off with the features that are standard on the model and the optional features, and also give some of the highlights of the control technology. We have the V-Series reach-in refrigerators, which now has a much broader range of the solid doors, the half doors, the glass doors, half glass, all of them with their separate model number and their separate pricing, which corresponds to the pricing that you will see in auto quotes. Here we have the freezers, and we also have the accessories, fluorescent lighting, LED lighting. You can get the expansion valve on the V-Series. You can get remote models on the V-Series. You can get the RS-485 serial interface for the V-Series as well. So a very rich offering in the top mount line, which is now complemented by the new V-Series horizontal line. So here in this section, you're going to see the same format. Unfortunately, you're not going to see pictures yet because we didn't have all the pictures available, so I elected to go with line drawings here in this section, and I will, however, at the end of this presentation, flip to PowerPoint that will show you how the new box looks, so you all have that well in mind. The key difference here in the new line is that we've really redesigned it with the same approach as we had to the others. So you have a very new, striking aesthetic look. It looks different than any other box on the market. On the VUR series, you're going to have the digital electronic control visible right up on the top right corner of the box. We've expanded the series to include the 36-inch model, and the reason why it's duplicated here on this page is to illustrate the fact that that's the only model that comes with a full wide draw version. The key point across the whole line is that we now have draw options available in any configuration, and so we now offer a horizontal line that is second to none compared to the other so-called full range refrigeration suppliers. We also have the front breathers across the board as well. So let's talk a second about the two different types of product in this line. We have maintained the VUR line, which also has freezer versions, and the UR line as options. What's the difference here? Well, the VUR line is the top of the line. It's with the stainless steel outside and with the aluminum interior walls. It does have an ABS door, but this is the model that's going to have the LED on the front. Both models, whether it's VUR or UR, are now going to be with electronic control. The UR models are going to have a spindle adjustment inside the box, and they're going to have the analog hanging thermometer as they have had up until now. The UR models are also going to have the ABS interior. And the UR models are only going to be available in the 27 and the 48-inch sizes. Here below you can see a quick reference chart for the options and accessories. Clearly some of the options only apply to the pizza table, for example the flour filter and the garnish racks. Most of the other options are available across the board. So the horizontal line begins with the pizza tables, and there's a lot of newness in the pizza tables, so much so that we're going to come out with a new separate brochure that's currently in the works. We are moving towards two compressors instead of one compressor, one that will control the temperature in the storage area and one that will control the cold rail. And so there will be two digital controls on the front of the pizza tables going forward, separately controlling each cold zone. In addition, we've done a lot of work on the coil under the cold rail to make sure there's a more even temperature distribution along the bottom, and so it'll be even more effective at maintaining temperature even during longer periods when the cover is open or even removed. All of these models, by the way, have the new handle design, which is a fully integrated design, so they don't protrude from the box at all. They have a great pull and a very sharp look. Here's the information on the pizza table sizes with draws. So the pizza tables have remained at 46, 65, 88, and 119. refrigeration package is still on the side. So again, front breathing and draw options available on all models. And now my slide is slow to advance. Let me go back one. There we go. So now we have the salad and sandwich prep. So we have a list for the VUR and UR. Like when you go to a car dealership, you get the points on which one comes on which model. Very clear, trying to be easy to understand, and the options that are available. On the UR models, which again have the analog plastic thermometer standard, we are going to offer as an upgrade the choice of getting a digital display, which is not the digital electronic control. We'll talk about that a little more in the options and accessories section. So here you see the full range, 27, 36, 48, 60, and 72. That's going to apply to the salads, the big tops, the undercounters, and the worktops. And now what we've done is giving an individual model number and price for each of the configurations. So there's no more building a box in the horizontal line. You're going to be able to cross-reference them very easily to all our competitors, and we'll have no problem finding the variation that before was not available in Victory. Here we're showing the tabletop configurations. One thing to point out here is there is a slight difference in the depth between the VUR and the UR models. The UR models, again, are only going to be available in the 27 and 48 inch width. The depth here is going to be 34 instead of 30. This is called out in the top line. You see that's asterisk for UR configurations. Depth is 34 where that's applicable. And that's going to be on the 8-pan and the 10-pan version for the 48 model. Here are the pricing for all the configurations with draws. We have also increased the number of tops. So for example, if you look at the 60-inch model, you have a 60 with 8 pans, 10 pans, 12 pans, 16 pans. So a very broad range. We've separated the sections for the VUR and the UR to try to make it as clear as possible. The big top section is very similar to the salad section. What's new here in particular is we're offering the dual-sided models. So on dual-sided models, on the one side you're going to have doors only, and on the other side you're going to have stainless steel. And you're going to be able to serve from both sides with a 12-inch cutting board on both sides. These spec sheets are currently being prepared. They're the last ones of the group. All the other spec sheets are already available on our website. These should be available within the next week. And we're going to offer that on all the models. So this had started out with a particular company, with a chain company we work with, Zaxby's, on the 48-inch model, I believe. And it's been very successful for them, and we've extended it to the whole range of the new horizontal line. These are the tops for the standard models. These are the draw options for the standard big top models. Now we have the undercounters. So again, the undercounter is available with the VUR or the UR configuration. And now you see all the draw options for the undercounters. The additional sections here are regarding the freezers. So the freezers are going to be offered in 3 sizes on the VUR model. We have the 27-inch, the 36-inch, and the 48. And in the UR model, they'll only be offered in the same 27 and 48. So those will be called respectively the VUF series and the UF series. You can also get those with stainless steel top or with the backsplash. So no longer do you have to go and add the backsplash to the stainless steel base. Now you have the worktop section, and the worktop section mirrors the undercounter section, just with a different top for the refrigerators and for the freezers as well. You have the accessories for the pizza table, for the salads, for the undercounters and worktops. Here you have the overshelves, At the end, we've included a quick reference section. So these are in alphabetical order by model name for each family. So first you're going to see the Ultra Spec series, then you'll see the Blast Chiller Shock freezers, and then you'll see the V series top mounts and the V series horizontal line. Let me go back to the Blast Chiller Shock freezers. Again, a point I neglected to speak to earlier was that the VBC models are available, but they're not the models that we're going to be stocking as Regions. We're going to be stocking the VBC-F models. But should somebody want the chiller-only version, and this has already happened several times, we are able to get them. They just have the factory lead time. So we're talking about 4 weeks production in Europe and 3-4 weeks transit time. To be safe, we're saying 8 to 10 weeks rather, for delivery depending on time of year. Also, as I already mentioned, the roll-ins and the pass-through models are also based on orders direct to the factory, so they have that lead time as well. Going forward, if we continue to see a lot of requests for the VBC only models, in particular in the 5 tray and the 12 tray, which seem to be the most popular, we might stock some of those as well for a faster turnaround. Here at the end, we have the terms and conditions. As you know, Victory is now offering the 3-year parts and labor warranty with the 5-year compressor warranty. We are also enforcing our restocking policy much more consistently than in the past, and I think you're all already aware about that. And finally, on the back inside cover, we have easy reference to all of the support people that are here to help in Victory. We have our regional sales managers, our customer service people, our technical service people, and parts people. I want to just point out a couple of new names that you may or may not be familiar with in the technical service area. We have Cheryl Noel Brown. Cheryl comes with a lot of customer service experience and has been doing a great job for us. Anyone who's dealt with her, I'm sure, can attest to the fact that she's really on it and just a pleasure to work with. Stephen O'Malley, the last person in that section, is the latest person to join our team. Stephen's been on with us just under 2 months now and has a vast experience of actually servicing units in the field. He was working for a chain that had a lot of units in the field, so very hands-on, very practical, also very good on the phone. So he's filled the slot that was vacated by Michael Rouse. In the parts area, we have Monica Santos, who has recently joined us, been here a few months, and is taking over for Barbara Dagny, who has retired. This is the back page, so as you see again, referring to the 70-year anniversary, which is our theme for this year, that we're going to see repeated as well when we go to the NRA, and is going to be on much more of the communication literature that we send out going forward. So here, just quickly, I'm going to shift to the PowerPoint presentation on the V-Series, and you can see firsthand a picture of the prototype unit that I took in our showroom. You can see the new look on the draws with the fully integrated handles. You can see the front breathing from underneath the box. The digital display in the top right corner, where we have the new Danfoss controller and the very particular aesthetic look to the top that's been opened in the front to allow for more visibility of the controller. So here again, just repeating the innovative features and enhanced performance, we've actually redesigned the layout of the compressor in this new model and the airflow over the condensing unit, so that it is definitely a much more effective front breather than it was previously in the VUR models. And the UR models did not have that previously, and now we've standardized the base, so the UR models are the same exterior physical dimensions as the VUR models, with that one exception we mentioned earlier on the Salad. So the UR models are also front breathing now as well. The airflow was not only improved underneath, it's also improved inside. We've redesigned the baffles, and we're using different fans, so we've got a much increased air convection on the inside, guaranteeing better contact with all the pans underneath in the salad models, and it's going to extend the ability of our products to operate even when tops are open or off during peak service hours. Another final note that I added to this slide is that on the salads and big tops going forward, the corners are going to be welded. This is something that we've had a lot of requests about in the past, and the covers that flip up are insulated. Again, just a little more information on the electronic control. So it's got this nice cool blue digital display. This is actually a Danfoss control. It's positioned in a way that it's very easy to adjust the set point. It's a one-touch button to enter into super cool mode. It will give you the high temp and low temp alarms. There's also a button for energy saving mode and one-touch defrost, all available right on the controller. The super cool mode is the energy saving mode is a little bit different than it is on the ultra spec model. The ultra spec models has the energy saving mode kicking in based on the number of door openings, and when it sees that the door is not opening for a certain amount of time, the preset is 4 hours, as we know, it allows the box to float up a couple of degrees in temperature during the night when it's not in use, with no risk of harm to the product, and saving cycles on the compressor and saving energy over the course of the year and the life of the product. This energy saving mode is activated like an on-off switch. So when you turn it on, it's going to change the set point to go up a couple degrees. When you don't want it anymore, you turn it off. The high temp alarm is set at 50 with a delay of 30 minutes, low temp alarm at 30 with a delay of 5 minutes. The super cool mode is going to kick in similar to the ultra spec for a half hour with a temperature differential of 3 degrees. Here's a quick picture of a schematic of the control, just so you can see that one-touch defrost is right there, the power on and off, the set point, kind of dual function buttons. If you do the long hold on the bottom button, that's what kicks in the super cool mode. If you do the long hold on the top button, that's what kicks in the energy saving mode. So very easy to use, and the display here is red, but the display when it's lit up on the box is blue, as you saw in the picture. So thank you very much for being here, and we're going to open it up for questions. Let me have Mark unmute everybody.